Look around you. Every corner of modern life is shaped by a material you might not even notice at first glance. Unless you're standing in a field of daisies, steel is everywhere, woven into the very fabric of our daily existence, from the tallest skyscraper to the smallest city bench. The building you're in? Steel beams hold it up, forming the invisible skeleton that keeps everything standing tall and safe, no matter the weather or the weight. Your car, your fridge, even your can of baked beans, all made possible by steel. It's in the vehicles that move us, the appliances that preserve our food, and the packaging that keeps our groceries fresh. This metal is the backbone of our cities and industries. Without it, the world as we know it would grind to a halt. No bridges, no factories, no modern infrastructure. Without steel, our world would be fragile. Imagine skyscrapers made of wood or bridges held together by hope. The strength and durability of steel have allowed us to reach new heights, literally and figuratively. For decades, a nation's steel output was a symbol of power and pride. Steel mills roared at the heart of industrial revolutions, fueling economies and building empires. Steel jobs built communities and shaped national identity. Generations of families found purpose and prosperity in the shadow of the mills, forging not just metal, but a sense of belonging. When mills close, it's not just an economic loss, it feels like losing a piece of the nation's soul. The silence left behind echoes through empty streets and shuttered shops. That's why protecting steel is a powerful political promise. Leaders know that steel is more than just a commodity. It's a symbol of hope, resilience, and national strength. Politicians know that pledging to save steel jobs taps into deep nostalgia and patriotism, stirring memories of better days and the promise of a brighter future. But this emotional appeal often overshadows the complex realities of global trade. Steel is now part of a vast, interconnected world market, where competition is fierce and change is constant. The stage is set for bold, controversial policies with far-reaching consequences, decisions that will shape not just the future of steel, but the future of our world. Enter Donald Trump. At a rally in Granite City, Illinois, he promised to more than double tariffs on foreign steel and aluminum, up to 50%. He told workers, "We're going to put a 50% tariff on their steel, and you're all going to be very, very rich." This wasn't new. Trump had already imposed 25% tariffs in 2018, citing national security. The logic: make foreign steel expensive, boost American industry, and secure the military supply chain. The new proposal is an escalation, targeting countries like China accused of dumping cheap steel. For Granite City workers, this was more than politics. It was hope for a revival. So, what's a tariff? You might have heard the word tossed around in the news, especially when countries are in trade disputes or politicians talk about protecting jobs. But what does it actually mean, and why does it matter to you? At its core, a tariff is just a tax that governments place on goods coming in from other countries, imported products. It's a way for governments to control what comes into their borders, and to influence the price of those goods. For example, if a foreign bike costs $200, and there's a 25% tariff, that bike now costs $250. Suddenly, the local bike, which might have seemed expensive before, looks like a better deal. This price difference can sway your decision as a shopper. Tariffs are a classic form of protectionism. By making foreign goods more expensive, they give an advantage to domestic producers, helping them compete against international companies that might have lower costs. The idea is to boost local sales, create jobs, and stimulate the economy. When local factories sell more, they can hire more workers, and that's good news for communities that rely on manufacturing. Tariffs aren't new. They've been used for centuries, dating back to the earliest days of international trade. Governments have long relied on tariffs to shield their industries from foreign competition and to raise money for public projects. Supporters argue that tariffs help level the playing field for American companies, especially when they face stricter regulations or higher labor costs than their overseas competitors. They see tariffs as a way to keep jobs and industries at home. But there's a catch. Tariffs don't just affect foreign companies. The extra cost gets passed down the supply chain, from importers to wholesalers, retailers, and eventually, to you. Importers pay the tax up front, but to stay in business, they raise prices for the next link in the chain. Retailers then adjust their prices, and by the time the product reaches the shelf, it's you, the consumer, who feels the pinch. So while tariffs are aimed at foreign producers, the real impact often lands right in your wallet. You might notice your money doesn't go as far as it used to. Everyday goods like groceries, electronics, and clothes can all get more expensive, even if they're made locally, because parts and materials often come from abroad. The protection that tariffs offer to some industries comes at a price for everyone else. It's a trade-off between supporting local jobs and paying more at the store. Tariffs might seem like a simple tool, but their consequences ripple through the entire economy, affecting prices, jobs, and even international relationships. In the end, tariffs touch everyone's life, not just steelworkers or factory owners, but families, shoppers, and businesses of all kinds. Tariffs create winners and losers. When governments impose tariffs on imported steel, the effects ripple far beyond the factory gates. These policies are designed to protect domestic industries, but their impact is complex and far-reaching. The winners? Steel companies and their workers, mills reopen, jobs return, and communities revive. For many, it feels like a second chance, breathing new life into towns that once faced decline. Local businesses benefit as paychecks are spent in the community, and a sense of hope returns. For these towns, steel is more than a job. It's identity and pride. Generations have worked in the mills, and the industry is woven into the fabric of daily life. The return of steel jobs means more than just employment, it restores dignity and tradition. But the losers are every industry that uses steel. Car makers, appliance companies, construction firms. These businesses depend on affordable steel to stay competitive, and when prices rise, their challenges multiply. Their costs rise, profits shrink, and some may lay off workers or close. The pain is often hidden, spread across thousands of companies and workers who may never know exactly why their jobs disappeared. The higher steel price ripples through the supply chain. Every link, from raw materials to finished products, feels the pressure, and the effects can last for years. A study found that for every steel job saved, the cost to steel-using industries was up to $900,000. That's a staggering price, and it highlights how the benefits are concentrated, but the costs are spread out. It's a paradox. Helping one group hurts many others. The gains are visible, but the losses are often silent, affecting families and businesses across the country. The policy robs Peter to pay Paul, except Peter is a much bigger group. While steel towns celebrate, many more workers in other industries face uncertainty. The economic impact is uneven and divisive. Some regions thrive, while others struggle, and debates over fairness grow louder. The benefits are visible, but the costs are widespread. For every town that rebounds, others may quietly fade, their loss is less obvious but just as real. It's a trade-off with real consequences. Policymakers must weigh these outcomes carefully, knowing that every decision creates both opportunity and hardship. And it shapes the lives of millions, touching every corner of the economy and every community, whether they realize it or not. Steel tariffs don't just hit factories, they hit your wallet. When steel prices rise, so do the prices of cars, appliances, even canned food. These increases add up, especially for families on tight budgets. Tariffs act as a hidden tax, hitting lower-income households hardest. Small businesses struggle to absorb higher costs and may lose out to bigger competitors. The result? Higher prices for everyone, fewer jobs for some. The policy protects some workers, but millions pay more for everyday goods. Is it worth it? That's the question at the heart of the debate. Ironically, America's steel tariffs hit Canada hardest, not China. Canada, the top U.S. steel supplier, was treated the same as countries accused of unfair trade. The North American supply chain is deeply integrated. Car parts cross the border multiple times. Tariffs disrupted this system, raising costs and creating chaos for businesses. Canadian leaders called the move an insult, straining relations with America's closest ally. The policy hurt both economies and eroded decades of trust. Canada began seeking new trading partners, wary of U.S. unpredictability. Businesses on both sides faced uncertainty and higher costs. The lesson protectionism can backfire, even hurting your friends. Unintended consequences ripple far beyond steel mills. The world didn't take U.S. tariffs lying down, they hit back. Canada, Mexico, and the EU imposed their own tariffs on American goods, targeting politically sensitive products. Harley-Davidson motorcycles, Kentucky bourbon, and Midwest soybeans all got pricier overseas. American farmers and manufacturers lost key export markets. Harley-Davidson even moved some production abroad to dodge tariffs. The trade war escalated, hurting businesses and consumers on all sides. Gains for steelworkers meant losses for farmers, distillers, and exporters. The global economy became a battlefield. American workers were pitted against each other. The costs of retaliation spread far and wide. No one escaped unscathed. So, is it worth it? For steelworkers whose mills reopened, tariffs are a lifeline. For farmers and small businesses hurt by higher costs and lost markets, they're a disaster. Economists argue the costs outweigh the benefits: higher prices, strained alliances, and few jobs saved at great expense. The debate is between national self-sufficiency and open trade. One side values protecting jobs and industries even at a higher cost. The other believes competition and free trade lead to more prosperity for all. There's no easy answer, just a nation wrestling with the price of protectionism. And as tariffs shape the future, the debate will only grow louder.